companies, they have low cost, but their branding has a questionable, at least in the Indian market. Now, what is there in between that is that this our Indian medical scenario, which we have our own government regulations. What is the need is, first need is it should be affordable to the average Indian patient. Of course, affordable means it must have high quality, reliability, and with that, it is successful only when it fulfills the local needs and is our technology strength. Now, as an as a country, we have already proved our technology strength in various areas. In CAD/CAM, computer manufacturing, 3D printing, rapid prototyping, building sensors, building various softwares, IoT systems. For various image analysis, for diagnostic and all those things. So this can be clubbed together to put a product innovation, having the disciplines from bioscience, materials, mechanical, electronics, software, and can come out with this particular solution. So this is what is the scenario, especially in our country, so that we can address the problem with equal affordability, with equal quality, and with equal competitiveness that what the other countries are now offering the solution. So I'll take you through the some of the steps which we follow in medical device development under our program, that is Biomedical Engineering Technology Incubation Center at COE Pune, which has been established along with the BETIC Center at IIT Bombay and VNIT Nagpur. So biomedical device development, we follow basic methodology which includes understanding clinical needs. What we can say, empathize or clinical immersion. So basically, to sit with the clinicians, doctors, understand their requirement, attend surgery, clinical procedures, along with just to observe how they do with the existing equipment, what are the difficulties they are facing, what modification they need. Or there are some problems, clinical problems, where they don't have any solution, technological solution. So how then they deal with those? So all that has to be identified, all that has to be understood by discussion, by attending their procedures, operations, all were diagnostic systems and all. Then we brainstorm with our team at our center, put some innovative solution. Not every solution is innovative. There are solutions which is equally, equally successful in other domain, can be adopted. Can be adopted. Hello. Hello.
बहुत ही अच्छा आयोजन है, ये आज की प्रस्तुति होने वाली है और
please participant can mute. Hello. Okay. Shall I continue?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these solutions can be adopted for the required problem, as well as there are combination of some creative or innovative ideas also, and of course keeping in mind that it should be cost effective solution. It should not exceed the affordability of the Indian population. And then very important task is immediately protect all those knowledge database by intellectual property rights, because in the global scenario it is very important. We have to keep our identity on our database, and that is through IPM. And this should not be limited to research center or to a lab or to some specific hospitals or to some very small confined area, but it should come into the market. It should reach to masses, and for that is possible only by technology transfer. So this is the way which we normally follow in our product development process for biomedical devices. Now, I will share with you one of the study by which I have started this career at IIT Bombay when I work as a research associate with Professor B. Ravi. So my first experience is to work on developing the total knee prosthesis for an cancer that is called osteosarcoma, which is sixth leading cancer in the children at the age of 15, which normally occurs at the joint, and that too frequently it occurs at the knee. So what was the basically the present solution in those time? It is almost 10, 12 years back, more than that. That either surgeon has to resect the limb from that area, and the patient has to become a handicap all over his life. And most of the patients are children, which is under the age 15. So at a very early age, when they lost their limb, that means how miserable is their life. Okay. So why not? There should be a solution. We have to provide by providing a total knee prosthesis. That means only the part of the cancer affected area has to be resected and can be reconstructed by the prosthesis. There are some prostheses available in the market. The imported prostheses are available in the market in those days, but they have some limitations, compatibility limitations. They have some metallosis, infection, loosening. Then again, some local tumor recurrence, and then the complication increases, and it again leads to the limb amputation. At the same time, those are very expensive. It's not affordable to common common person. So the challenges were to develop a low-cost, high-quality prosthesis, and that too also it should be implanted in the patient body with standard surgical protocol. It does not require any additional surgical protocol, or rather with a very good surgical protocol for maintain the surgical standard. So those were the challenges, and to address the complications. The problem starts with this. Then we have studied the what is the total movement, knee movement in different postures normally in we have concentrated on the human knee joint biomechanics, studied what are the force behavior on the knee when person walk, when person jump, when person run. And normal walking, what should be the overall average weight? It has to be transferred by the center of gravity through the center of gravity of the body, and what should be the torque, because knee is not only like a hinge movement, but it has slight rotation movement also. So it experiences torque also. So by studying the biomechanics of the knee, we have derived to some certain loading data, force data, that should also comply to the based on that, it has been this has been identified, and these are the when the human is having the walking stance. The first stance, that means when human being is
उसकी लैंग्वेज भी टफ है और वो है इसकी आर्ट प्रोग्रामिंग और सपोर्ट जावा वगैरह बहुत टफ है, लेकिन मैं पढ़ता हूँ तो मुझे पहले दिखता है कि लैपटॉप की जरूरत है, कॉन्सेप्ट होना चाहिए कोडिंग का, दिमाग में मैथमेटिक्स होना चाहिए। अरे प्रैक्टिस तो दिन में करना है बेटा, कितना करेगा प्रैक्टिस? अरे बहुत टाइम मिलता है पढ़ने वालों के लिए, टाइम की कमी नहीं है, ये तो मैं मान नहीं सकता हूँ।
Okay.
ऊपर वाले ने सबको वही 24 घंटे दिए हैं। अब मैं भी तो घर में बैठा हूँ कि नहीं।
Has been reached to maximum up to 2.4 body weight, axial force and anterior posterior movement. Moment reached to 2.6 body weight centimeter. So this is kind of torque which we can say moment. Then we have derived the functional requirement, what should be the functional requirement, what should be the load bearing capacity, then what should be the axial force, anterior posterior force, and what are the materials, what requirement of material which is biocompatible and geometric compatibility also, and so forth. So many data has been derived. The data has been obtained from the human knee, various human knee. Lot of data has been collected. We have done statistical analysis based on the data. What should be the average length of the knee on anterior and posterior sides? Then design the first CAD model. Rank the material, selected the material, and compare the strength. Then reconstruct the knee from the CT MRI data so that it can be superimposed on the CAD model. The first model has been, prototype has been fabricated. It has been tested on the knee simulator. Whatever the feedback which we have got from the knee simulator based on the failure, the design has been modified. Another design 2 or prototype 2. Then gradually it has been modified based on the geometrical compatibility, based on the less friction and various parameters, and gradually it takes the shape of the final product. Okay, it has been used, RP process, the 3D printing process has been used in order to build and test the initial model, of course on the simulated environment, not on the patient body. Then some finite element analysis has been carried out in order to see the behavior, how it fail, or what are the weaker section of the design, and then it has been addressed by appropriate design modifications. It has been superimposed on the CT MRI model. It has been superimposed on the CT MRI model. See the compatibility with the natural human anatomical dimensions. So this is what is the reconstructed 3D model. Then what is the anatomical suitability, so that after resecting this particular part, how it will fit the positioning and alignment. It should match with the natural axis of bone, so that should not be any misalignment during the function of the prosthesis. Then finally, model has been built, and then after verification of various parameters based on the standard, is when it has been sent for the fabrication of actual product, actual final testing model, and then it has been tested on the patient. Then that journey continues when we started BETIC Center, that is Biomedical Engineering and Technology Incubation Center at COEP in 2014. We have met various clinicians, discussed with them various problems. As a part of the BETIC events, we have been organized medical device hackathons and medical device innovation camps wherein the medical students, doctors, practitioners, clinicians has been worked with the engineers in a team to address the problems. And then we take up some of the problems, incubate them up to the product level. So I will just share some of the case studies. The facilities which we have is the 3D printing facilities, electronics prototyping facilities, Fab Lab, digital Fab Lab, which is similar to the Idea Lab. Now, recently we are procured the 3D metal printer, SLM metal printer, which can able to print the metallic object in stainless steel, titanium. These are the devices which we develop under the BETIC COEP. Almost 10, 11 devices we have been developed, and out of these 4 devices received the BIG grant of rupees 50 lakh to start their own startup. I will present few of the case studies, how is the journey of those particular device development. First, it will start with the skin spray gun. This is for effective healing of large burn wounds. This is the problem which has been shared by a plastic surgeon from Sasun General Hospital at Pune. There's a general hospital who normally deals with the class 2 or level 2 types of the burn wounds, which the existing treatment to treat those burn wounds is to remove a small part of the healthy skin, the vapor of the healthy skin of the patient, then mince this healthy skin into the form the paste, and the paste has been applied. But since the portion of the healthy skin which is removed from the unburnt area of the patient is small and the burnt area is large, so it was not sufficient that part of the skin which is removed to occupy the whole burn wound. So then what will be the solution? So we take up this problem, then we brainstorm at our end. Our team has worked, researcher student has worked, and then we come up with this solution, that is, why not we should spray those skin particles, small skin particles, which can be acts as a seed particle, so that the skin growth can start from various area of the large burn wound, and small piece of the skin can be used for treating the large burn wounds. So this is Mr. Dr. Nikhil Panse, who is shared the problem, and Sai Prasad is the student. We have started working at our end. Then we have derived with various designs, various methodologies, various protocols, how we can spray this. There are various spraying systems available, but those sprays are basically to spray the only homogeneous liquid. That means only one form of the liquid, either mist spray of the liquid, or sometimes it's a solid spray. But this is the spray which required to spray the heterogeneous type of the mixture, in which there's a particle, solid particle, as well as the liquid fluid which acts as a carrier medium. Now we have start from very crude first prototype, then derived the prototype with pneumatic based prototype. Then we have tested the prototype for what should be the expansion ratio of the spraying, and then finally we'll come to the functional prototype, which we can see in the white color. Then it has been tested in the hospital for initial testing, and once it has been accepted by the doctor for further development, we have filed the patent in the India as well as in the Singapore, and now we have granted the Singapore patent for this. Then the final prototype has been again reviewed and modified in various versions in the form of its spray systems, in the form of nozzle versions, how it deals with, as well as how it can carry the skin particles with from the specific distance, and how it should spread all over the skin wound, and it should, all the procedure has to carry in the operation theater by the doctor. So user experience is also important in this particular study. So we have done various iterations on the nozzle designs, on various nozzle systems, and then come up with the solutions which can able to spray the skin with the required expansion ratio and with the required uniformity, which includes the features uniform spray, which has been electronically controlled. The complete unit has to be sterilizable so that there should not be any chances of contamination of infection. It does not require very high scale. In a minimum skill, the surgeon, the clinician can able to use it without any fatigue. So design is ergonomically sound, and it should cover with the expansion ratio for large burr wound. Then we compare this particular product to BIRAC BIG competition and won the 50 lakh BIG grant. And from that 50 lakh BIG grant, our student, Mr. Sai Prasad, has started this startup that is called Pacify Medical Technologies Private Limited. He has also worked on how to make the means pieces in a very uniform size and remodified the version, and this is what is the latest version of the device. The company has started, that is Pacify Medical Technologies Private Limited. So company now incubated in the Sain IIT Bombay, and this product is almost about to launch in the market. Second problem which we come across with the problem shared by Dr. Sonali Sarvi, who is also a general physician as well as associate professor as the Department of Medicine in BJ Medical College as well as Sassoon General Hospital. So what the problem they have observed is that whenever the patient has been intubated in the ICU when the patient is not able to respirate by their own, not able to breathe by their own, the patient has been put on the ventilators. Normally it has the frequency of using ventilators is increased in the COVID era, but this what we have developed is just prior to the COVID era. So what they observed that after few hours, when the patient has been intubated, that means the tube is inserted through the mouth of the patient, to the lungs, to the entry of the lungs, and the ventilator provides the respiration, the air oxygen mixture, this tube to the lung. But at the portion which is near the lung entry, that is distal end of this endotracheal tube, this tube is called endotracheal tube, is gradually start blocking because of the secretion of the mucus inside the body fluid, some blood clots, and so many fluid which started accumulating towards it, and it start blocking at this particular end. And when it blocks, there is a negative pressure formed in the ventilator, because ventilator keep pumping the air, but the air is not delivering to the lungs with that required pressure. So there is a pressure difference has started. Ventilators, usually ventilators has been designed in such a way that they can able to detect that particular negative pressure only when it has reached to some particular threshold value. But even though after that the clinician has to, or attendants has to attend that particular patient within a very small time period, okay, and it has to replace the tube and then again insert the new tube or whatever. Otherwise, if it's not unnoticed, then it becomes serious situation to the patient. So we have taken up this particular problem. We have collected the data of how many this kind of issues has been faced based on the statistical data which we have derived from how many ICUs and how many patients per day in ICUs and needed intubation and all those things. Then we have designed a device, small electronic device with a sensor in such a way that it should fit in between the ventilator and the tube, and which can monitor the pressure, negative pressure in the real-time mode. So if even there is a small blockage in the tube, it can also detect that particular blockage, and it sends the alarming signal to the ICU attendants or to the clinician, so that clinician or ICU attendant can get sufficient time in hand to replace this tube and save the time, save the life as well as time of the patient. This product further developed to a commercial product. This is how this is the final version of the product, which includes the one junction connector, one having some obstruction monitoring system, which includes the sensor. It connected to the monitoring software, as well as is also connected to the mobile phones through Bluetooth, so that physician can get the data of every patient blockage situation in real time on their cell phones. Then this is how it basically work. I hope everyone can able to see my screen and can able to hear my audio.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. This junction connector fits in between the tube and the ventilator. The junction connector has a sensor which we have used, and the sensor data has been monitored by the microprocessor embedded in the particular system, which sends the signals to the software, as well as it has its own alarming system. As soon as the pressure reaches to some certain threshold values, and even threshold values are also we can able to set in this particular device. So even 10%, 20% blockage in the tube can be detected by this particular device, a small device, and then it sends the alarm signals to the attendant or the clinician. So you can see there are some microphone-based sensors are also used. Then it has been tested on the real-time scenario, given to the various doctors, so that they can also use and give their feedback for further improvement. Prototype has been tested in the simulated environment, and then again in the very next year we have presented this particular device again by RAC for competing for the 50 lakh BIG grant, and we won that grant consecutively second year. And the same student, Mr. Abhijit, who has been work on this, started their own startup that is called Atman Technovation Private Limited to commercialize this particular product into the market, okay, which has various features like increased patient safety, real-time obstruction monitoring, reduced unplanned extubation, compatible with all tube size and many. So these are the specifications which we have enhanced in this particular model, and this is what we can say the complete product, along with the connect junction connector, which is a consumable. Junction connector can be used and then it can be discarded, but it's very cheap. Thereafter, there is one more problem which has been shared by orthopedic surgeon from Dinanath Mangeshkar Hospital at Pune. Basically, what happened whenever there is a injury happened to the lower limb or upper limb. So before it shifted to the clinician for diagnosis, whether it's a fracture or not, or even if it is a fracture, then during the shifting of the patient, the fracture portion or the limb has been given a various movement. Because of that, there is a chances of further dislocation of the joint or maybe the bone wherever it undergoes the fracture. So why not there should be a quick applicable plaster that has to be developed, so that it can be quickly applied on the field itself with a minimal operation, okay, or with minimal handling. So he has derived one plaster splint. This is very effective plaster splint based on the paper and some the patented material. This plaster splint is can be just dipped in a water, or can be water can be poured over it and apply on the patient area, either hand or leg. Within 5 minutes, the water can be soaked or water evaporated, and this becomes harder, and it will provide a strong support to the patient. So this support will long last till the patient undergoes the final plaster, or sometimes this for small hair cracks or small injury, this can be also used, recommended by the clinicians as a plaster. So this is very cheap, almost 300-400 rupees a plaster, and can be put anywhere in as a part of first aid kit. So he has also won the very first BIG grant, 50 lakh for this particular product. which has very high impact. It can be used in anywhere, in the cars, in the schools, in the college, hospital, in the sports ground, wherever there is a chances of injuries to the bone. And it's very cheap, can be kept along with the first aid kits. And the company is called Mediasha. He has been established, formed the company under the Startup India. And he has also complied, this company has also complied ISO 13485 is a medical standard 2016, received the C certification also, and it is in market. It is available on various e-commerce websites, this particular, and also available in various sizes for lower limb and upper limb. Okay, this is how it looks in the package form. The company is Pune based. Then another problem is that the problem shared by one acupressure specialist, that there are some points available, some points in our palm which is need to be pressed with specific force, so that this can be related to some various organs of the body. It is the part of the acupressure therapy. So common man, common person may not able to put a proper pressure on proper point. So why not there should be technical solution for that. So we have developed acupressure glove. So this glove is having the acupressure point inside that. The person has to only put their hand inside the glove, and there is a control unit attached to this glove. This person has to put this particular our hand, patient hand inside this, and operate this one as per the requirement, and this will apply the spikes. There are spikes on inside the glove. Spikes apply a specific pressure on the specific points, and it can be get the advantage of the acupressure therapy. Then there's one more device which we develop is for hemoglobin, measurement of the hemoglobin quantification in the human body, and this can be used for remote health centers, okay, where one does not require very high end machines. This very handheld, very small device which we developed based on the image processing technology. This image processing technology is process the image of the blood drop in the microprocessor and counts some specific parameters which we have coded in this particular microprocessor. Based on that, it can give what is the count of the hemoglobin in that particular blood. So it can be used in rural primary health centers or remote hospitals, field hospitals, etc. This is how the device looks like, and this is how this particular device works. It has a specific chip embedded inside and having LED light source and the camera which captures and sends the signal to the microprocessor. Or even it can send those signals if the internet connectivity is available, can send to the clinician's mobile or software in the hospital center where it can also be processed. Or even it has an embedded microprocessor which can also give some result. There's one more requirement is that when the dialysis is performed on the patient, okay, in the dialysis the patient has to always keep the positive and negative pressure to the blood vessel by by pressing the palm, and the pressing of the palm has been done by giving a soft rubber ball to the patient, and patient has to always press that particular rubber ball when there's a dialysis is going on. But that is the difficulty when the patient is a very old age patient or patient, a very weak patient which cannot sustain the repeated pressing the ball inside the hand while dialysis. So it becomes very strenuous to the patient. So what should be the solution for that? Solution for that is, this is a cup, dialysis cup, which having some pump controller unit, and this pump will provide the positive and negative pressure on the area of hand where the dialysis is going to perform, or the dialysis needle is going to perform the infusion of the blood. Then there are cases where the biomedical device implant for the abnormal patient jaw has been derived in the 3D printing, tested and implanted. There's also a case study of development of the guide wire endoscopic or endoscopic spine surgery, guide wire jig for endoscopic spine surgery. So this is basically one spine surgeon, Dr. D.R. Kabre, has approached our center and he has expressed difficulty that while doing the endoscopic spine surgery, they need to go very closer to the spinal cord. Even small miscalculation in this particular surgery can lead to the injury to the spinal cord. So, is there any device which can ease out their calculation so that it should be very less chances to injure to the spinal cord? So, with this particular clinical need, and we have taken up the problem and designed a jig. Many of the mechanical engineering students or mechanical background, people know about the jig, which we used in machining, guiding the tool for specific machining operation. The same principle which we use, we design a jig which can, guide the guide wire in a specific angular location as well as a linear location, and ease out the task of the surgeon. So this is how the prototype which we have developed, and then final version has been fabricated and tested on the cadaver. Then there is one more device that is called hand rehabilitation device for burn patient. There is issues when there is hand burn takes place to the specific person, and when this hand burn start recovering, there is a new skin formation start. But new skin formation is when it start growth of the new skin, it requires specific flexibility. Otherwise, it becomes a very stiff, and it may restrict or it may completely jam our finger movement. So for that, the patient has to undergo some specific physiotherapy. But the data which we have seen, or the overall population of the patient which we have seen which undergo the hand burn, are mostly on the labor class, those who normally deal with very hazardous situations, like the labor who work in the furnaces or the machine tools, on electrician, or foundries and somewhere. So they are on a very lower income strata. So they may not afford the very costly physiotherapy devices or costly physiotherapy treatment. So why not? There should be a device that they can very easily use at home also, or it can be make them available at very nominal cost for them. And the device should also impart the full scientific physiotherapy movement to all the fingers. So this is the device which we have designed, in which the patient has to only keep their hand, and then the device will take care of imparting various physiotherapy movement to each and every finger of the patient when its skin just started to grow after the burn injury. This device which we designed, which is having the compatibility with the same as the manual physiotherapy the surgeon or the physician has given to the patient. So it can put all the required physiotherapy movement, and we have designed the kinematics in such a way that the kinematical design of the device in such a way that every finger shall undergo to the specific joint movement with controlled movement, as well as it should not exceed the required load. It should not exceed the required load. So it includes the complete kinematic design, then controller motor, then a microprocessor, microcontroller who controls the motor based on the load cells feedback. This is what is the device, the first prototype which we have developed, and now recently in 2 months, before 2 months, we got another BIG grant for this particular device. So now this device can be used for burn patient to provide the physiotherapy. Then there is one more device which we have developed for total knee replacement surgery, physiotherapy for total knee replacement surgery. Normally what happens after the total knee replacement surgery, patient has been asked to perform the physiotherapy at home, but somehow patient may not follow that physiotherapy advice, and after some time there is a complications has been created. We have developed a wearable device where the patient has to put the device on the outside of the knee and just wrap it to the leg and perform the physiotherapy exercises as mentioned by the clinician. And this will record our physiotherapy movement. This will also having the connectivity, IoT enabled, it recorded data, and also it send the data to the cloud so that the clinician can able to know whether the patient has undergone the required physiotherapy exercises or not, with the required angle or not, whether the patient is doing physiotherapy in the right way or not. Okay, we have also designed interface for that, and clinician can monitor the physiotherapy progress of the patient. So that way the clinician can advise the patient proper physiotherapy, and patient is also have a botheration to perform the physiotherapy in the very right way, so that both cases there's a win-win situation. The patient can also recover speedily, and clinician also has not to face complications. Then there are X-ray image enhancement device, wherein X-ray is not only for bones but for soft tissues also we have developed with various filters. Then we also develop a Harpal, which is what you can say telemedicine kind of device, which can send the tactile data, that means touch sense data from the remote locations by developing one hand glove which is having the sensor, and the patient may be situated in the remote center, and there is one maybe any health worker can wear that glove and do the palpation to the patient, just like some tumors on the body or some stiffy part of the body. The patient can, the health worker can touch to that patient area with that particular glove, and the touch sense is transmitted to the doctor who sits in the hospital area. He can also feel the same type of sense, whether it's a soft touch, or soft sense or hard sense. So based on that, doctor can able to diagnose whether it's a normal tumor or abnormal tumor, or it's a normal swelling or abnormal swelling, and based on that they can recommend the patient as to whether undergo a treatment or not. Then in the COVID also, we have been keep working even in the lockdown area where everything has been closed. There's nobody on the road and every services has been closed. But we have been working in our lab, and we have developed a very small portable bedside ventilator for the patient who may not able to get the regular ventilator on the ICU. So this is how we have. I'll just share this particular screen. So this is the mechanical ventilator which we have developed, having the basic minimum parameters. I hope everyone can able to see the video.
Sir, yes, sir.
So these are some additional product also we have developed in our lab in the very first COVID lockdown, when the COVID is very new to the to the people, where everyone is scared about how it is. But in that period, we have worked in our lab. We have developed masks. We have developed protective hoods for surgeons, for clinicians who treat the COVID patient, and protective intubation box. etc. This is our development continues at our center, and this is very very good learning experience to our students as well as our faculty, so that we can able to work on very live real time product development projects, which is directly related to the life of the human being. So that's all with my first part of the presentation. I hope we are little running out of the time. I think 10-15 minutes. So maybe what is the next part? Maybe we will have to take a break and then start next session.
Yes, sir. We will have to take the break for 10 minutes. And then we'll start new session.
Okay. And the queries, all queries and questions will be after that, no? For both the sessions.
After second session. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So after 10 minutes, we can resume again?
Yes, we can resume again after 10 minutes.
Okay, yeah, fine. Thank you.
I request participants to fill the feedback form and we'll resume back in 10 minutes.
Please.